just to finish that story, let's say tomorrow, every woman on the planet died, some strange disease, boom, they all died, except one, my wife. Do you think I'd come to work and complain about her? No. She's the only possible person on the planet, and I got her. I might hire a bodyguard, right? But that's it. So again, complaining means that you have something you prefer, but you have to be willing to risk creating it. Okay, good. So here's a little cartoon. It says, bummer of a birthmark, Hal. So basically, a lot of us are born with issues, problems. We wouldn't want to be a deer with a target on us. Here's a young man by the name of Matty Christensen. Matty Christensen was born with no legs past the knee, no arms past the elbow. Now, he could have complained about that. But when I interviewed him for one of our books, he said to me, Mr. Canfield, he said, oh, I should tell you this too. He has a prosthetic device on the end of his arm with a lacrosse stick, and that's his pitching hand and his catching glove for playing baseball. And he was the pitcher on the Little League team for baseball in New York that went to the state final championship when he was 11 years old. They lost the championship, but they came in second of all the baseball teams in New York. And he said to me, Mr. Canfield, it's an obstacle to be solved. It's not a problem. It's just something you have to deal with. He didn't ever complain about it. He said, you have to give up all your excuses, and you have to become solution-oriented. And so here's an 11-year-old child basically understanding this principle of 100% responsibility, no complaining, and no blaming. And we really all have to realize that we don't have the same challenges he has. Much of us are in a much better situation, but we complain. And so I would encourage you to simply give that up. So, I mentioned earlier, there's only 3 responses to an event you have any control over, which are your behavior, that's what you say and do, there's your thoughts, which is what you think, and there's the images that you hold in your mind, the pictures. These are the only 3 things you can control. And so we're going to look at each of those today, how we can change our thoughts, change our pictures, change our behavior to be more successful. So let's start by looking at our thoughts. So you have to harness the power of your thoughts. So we're going to do a little exercise with our hand. And what I want you to do is I'm going to ask you to look at the bottom of your hand. You'll see there's a little line that goes across there. Would everyone look and find that little wrist? There's a line that goes across your wrist. And then you have that same line on the other hand. And what I want you to do is to take the line on one hand and put it right on top of that line on the other hand. Make it as perfect as you can. And when you have that, then what I want you to do is just roll your fingers up like that. Roll your hand up like that. And if you're like most people, you're going to find as you look at the end of your fingertips, one of your hands is slightly longer than the other hand. Right. If that's true, what you're going to do is take your shorter hand and put it in front of your face about this far. If it's not true, take either hand and put it in front of your face about that far. And then what we're going to do is something very strange. We're going to say out loud 8 times to that hand, grow longer. So here we go. On the count of 3, in unison, all out loud at the same time. You're going to say grow longer in English or Arabic. And here we go. 1, 2, 3, go. Grow longer. 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 Okay, stop. Now, line your hands up again, put those little lines together, and then roll them up, and notice what happened. So most of you found that that hand grew a little longer. Now here's the point. Your thoughts are actually affecting your body all day long. Your thoughts are affecting everything in your life all day long. But most of us don't realize that. We were never taught that. The thoughts you think are affecting your body, and they're sending out a wave, just like when you're on your cell phone, that sends out a signal, which we'll talk about a little later, that actually impacts other people and either repels them from you or attracts them to you, either in terms of relationships, business, financing, etc. All right. So we have to be very, very conscious of the thoughts we think because they are affecting our life. Now, what we want to do is make our hand normal again. So put your hand in front of your face one more time. And we're going to say back to normal just 6 times. Here we go on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Back to normal, 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 back to normal. And if you want, you can line them up again and check that out. Okay? All right, very good. So again, we have to become conscious of the thoughts we think. Most of us are just thinking thoughts all day long, thinking they're just thoughts. But we have to become very intentional and think certain thoughts on purpose in order to create greater success in our life. Now, I want to demonstrate one more thing. I need a volunteer, a man, to come up here on stage with me. Who would be willing to volunteer to do that? I'm going to pick you right there. Yeah, you can give him a hand. And while he's coming up, I'll just tell you, we're going to do a thing called muscle testing, where I'm going to test the strength of his arm muscles, and then we're going to see how certain thoughts actually make him stronger or weaker. And we'll demonstrate that when he gets up here. Very good. What is your name?
Hi, Imad.
Imad?
Yes.
Okay, Imad, if you come over here. And stand and face the audience, if you would.
Assalamu alaikum.
Very good. Now, you stand here. Are you right-handed or left-handed?
Right hand.
Right hand. So let me borrow your left arm. All strong, no injuries, everything's good? Okay. So I want you to say, my name is Imad.
My name is Imad.
And I should tell you one thing first. I'm going to push down on your arm. You resist. Do not let me push your arm down. We'll test your strength. Go real strong. Okay. And say, my name is Imad.
My name is Imad. My name is Imad.
Okay. Now make up a name that's not yours. Like my name is Muhammad or my name is Amir.
Yes.
And say that out loud.
My name is Khalid. My name is... yes.
Notice what happened to your arm. Okay, now...
Even my legs start twitching.
Your legs started to get weak, okay. And now say, my name is Imad again.
My name is Imad. My name is Imad.
And say, my name is a different name.
My name is Muhammad. My name...
See, so whenever you lie, this whole set of muscles goes weak. How many of you have children? Can I see a show of hands if you have children? Would this be useful information if you were a parent? Yeah, you know.
I lost my control.
They tell you they've done their homework. You say, put your arm up. Say that again. Back to your room, right? Okay, so we're going to do a couple other things here.
Yep.
I want you to think of something you always wanted to do in your life, but felt like you can't do. Like maybe I can't skydive, or I can't play the piano, or I can't learn to swim.
No, I wanna meet Sheikh Hamid. To offer my project to him.
Okay, but I want you to say, I can't do that. Just go ahead and say, I can't meet him.
I have a problem. I can't meet him.
Notice what happens to your arm. Now I want you to say, I can meet him.
I can meet him.
And notice your arm's
I can meet him.
strong. See, good. So when you say, I can't, it weakens you.
Yes.
So anytime you're thinking to yourself or saying to yourself, I can't do that, I'm unable to do that, it actually weakens the muscles in your body.
That's right.
Now, I want you to close your eyes for just a moment. I want you to remember a time in your life when you had a goal, but you did not achieve it. You failed in some way. You're not going to say this one out loud, so you can just think for a moment. It could have been in school, financial, sports, whatever it might be. And when you can remember a time when you had what we call a failure, just nod your head. You got one? Okay. Now, I want you to think about that event. Just think about what happened, maybe see the situation that didn't work out, and notice what happens to your arm. And now I want you to tell me what's one thing you ate for food in the last 24 hours? Something.
I ate one sandwich.
One sandwich, okay. Now I want you to think of a time when you had a success. You set a goal, you achieved it, you were really proud of yourself.
Yes.
And when you can think of that, just nod your head so I know you got one, okay? Now keep thinking about that. Notice what happens to your arm now. Good and strong. So what happens in life is if you focus on your failures and think about what you did wrong, it weakens your whole physiology. You focus on your successes, it strengthens. Just to give you an example, when we start our business meetings in my company, we always go around, if it's a large group, like 100 people, then we'll have everyone in groups of 4 or 5. They all share a success, 1 minute each. and then it brings the energy up, and then whatever we're focused on, there's this greater belief that we can achieve it. If it's a small group, like 10 people, just my core staff, then I will have each person take a minute, we do that, and then we go into the business meeting, totally changes the energy.
Yes.
Okay, I want you to do one more thing with me, two more things, brother.
Yeah.
I want you to think of someone you do not like. You're not going to say their name, but someone you hate or don't like. Is there such a person in the world?
Maybe, yes.
Okay, now I want you to pretend they're standing right there. And I want you to send them the thoughts like, I don't like you, I hate you, you're an idiot, you know, whatever those kind of thoughts are. And just keep thinking those thoughts toward that person, and we'll test your arm. Notice what happens. That's about the weakest it's been, right? Now that same person, I'm going to ask you to think a loving, caring, compassionate, I forgive you, I know you're just doing the best you can with the limited awareness, skills, and knowledge you have. And I know that's hard, but you can do it.
I'll try my best.
Just choose the thought and send it to that person. Keep sending that thought, and notice what happens now. Now you're strong. So here's the deal. I think it was Nelson Mandela, the president of South Africa, before he died. He said, being angry and sending hate towards someone is like drinking poison and hoping they'll die. Oh. That's what happens when you're feeling that angry thought, you're the one that got weaker. Yep. And when you're thinking those thoughts about them, they're not even aware you're thinking them. Yes. It's affecting you, right? Okay. Now, I want to do one last thing with this. I want you all out there in the audience to send him a negative thought. Just think some negative thought about him. You know, I don't like you, you're an idiot, something like that. I don't like your tie, that'll do. Just keep thinking that thought toward him and notice what happens. As strong as you are, you can't do that. Now, I want you to send him a positive thought. He was the only person I saw in the room that raised their hand. He volunteered, he's up here, he's been very honest with us about things. And just send him a positive, loving thought, and notice what happens now. Doesn't move. Now, here's the problem. You can't control what other people are thinking about you, because they're just out there thinking whatever they think. But would you like to learn how to not let their negative thoughts make your arm weak?
Sure.
That's the right answer. Very good. Okay, good. Thank you. All right. So what we're going to do, I'm going to ask you, have you been to Dubai?
Yes, I lived there more than 10 years.
Okay, good. So you know in front of the towers there, they have the big fountains? So I'm going to ask you to pretend that you're standing in the middle of one of those circles of fountain, and there's water all around you, 360 degrees surrounding you, and the water goes up about 8 feet, comes back down, protects you. Nothing can get through. It's all light and sparkly and water. So close your eyes and just imagine being surrounded by that water. And tell me when you got a clear image of that.
I'm there.
You're there. Okay, good. So what I'd like you to do now, keep imagining the water. I want you all to send him a negative thought, just like you did before, but you imagine the water, and watch what happens now. It's strong, doesn't go weak. Now stop imagining the water, like they just turned the water off. Tell me when it's gone.
Yes, it's done.
Okay, send him a negative thought again. Now it's weak. Now bring the water back. Tell me when you have the water back again.
Jump.
Got it?
Yeah.
Okay, send him a negative thought. And now it's good and strong. So basically, you can open your eyes. When you visualize, you can do that with your eyes open, by the way.
Yeah.
You can imagine the fountain. And that's more useful, obviously, when you're in a meeting or something.
Just to not break the test, I mean.
Okay. So basically, here's the point. Your thoughts are affecting your strength, your power, your creativity. When you think a negative thought, all the energy moves to the back of your brain. There's a part of your brain called the amygdala. And what happens is that's where fear lives, that's where hatred lives, that's where negativity lives. And when you think positive thoughts, when you focus on joy and love and success, the energy moves up to the prefrontal cortex of your brain, which is where good decision making, spirituality, creativity, love, joy, all those things live, and then you make much better decisions. Okay? Hey, thank you very much for volunteering. Give them a hand. Thank you.